Hello everyone, I'm Anas Al-Ubaidi, and this is the first lecture or first session from chapter 14 from the Advanced Medical Science Liaison and Medical Monitor Certification course program by CCRPS. And chapter 14 is about the safety and signal management, and the first topic we will cover in this session is about the adverse event reporting, AE reporting, and signal detection tools. Introduction. As adverse event, AE reporting, and signal detection are linchpins of clinical trial monitoring, forming the foundation of pharmacovigilance, PV, and risk assessment. These processes ensure that clinical trials prioritize patient safety, maintain data integrity, and comply with regulatory standards. Adverse events AEs, which encompass any undesirable medical occurrences in trial participants, are inevitable in medical research. However, how these events are identified, reported, and managed determines the overall success and ethical alignment of the trial. Signal detection, meanwhile, serves as the analytical backbone for identifying patterns or signals of potential safety concerns in clinical data, and that is called signal detection. By systematically reviewing case reports, trial databases, and other real world data sources, researchers can uncover early warning signs of emerging adverse trends tied to investigational drugs or investigational products, IPs, or investigational devices. And this is called, again, signal detection. These insights may highlight issues warranting deeper investigation or immediate corrective measures. The significance of AE, adverse event reporting, and signal detection cannot be overstated. Without these mechanisms, important safety concerns may remain unaddressed, exposing participants, the patients who are participating, to undue risk and compromising public trust in clinical research. Furthermore, global regulatory guidelines, such as those set by the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, EMA, the European Medicines Agency, or global databases like Vigibase, for instance, as for example of a global database, ensure standardized practices in AE adverse event handling, making these processes critical for product approval and post-market surveillance. After that, we have the key points. Adverse event AE reporting. Definition: AE adverse event. Any undesirable medical occurrence during a clinical trial, whether directly related to the drug or not, it's called adverse event, AE. Doesn't matter as long as is undesirable medical occurrence during conducting the clinical trial. Doesn't matter whether related or not related to the investigational product, IP, or the study medication. Serious adverse event SAE, events leading to hospitalization, admission into the hospital, death, disability, or significant life-threatening conditions. While unexpected adverse events not foreseen or listed in prior drug or study information, like for instance in the pharmacy manual for the trial, or the investigational brochure of the trial, or in the protocol, adverse events that are not listed there as unexpected. If not, then unexpected adverse event. Examples of AE's adverse events: SAE, serious adverse event example, a patient experiencing a life-threatening allergy reaction leading to hospitalization following the administration of a vaccine. Unexpected AE example, cardiac arrhythmias in patients who are participating in the trial during a diabetes trial, even though no prior data suggested cardiac risk. so wasn't expected. Steps in AE adverse event reporting, we have the detection. Sources include participant reported symptoms, medical exams, and retrospective database reviews. Example, monitoring hospital admission reports during a study to screen for unanticipated serious adverse events, SAEs. Documentation minimum required data, patient and reporter identification, a drug exposure details, dosage scheduling, description and date of the AE, the adverse event. This is the minimum required data for documentation for an AE. Use structured CRF case report forms. Standardized case tracking ensures precision. Assessment. Categorize AEs adverse events based on seriousness, for example, hospitalization required or not, expectedness, anticipated based on preclinical data, causality, relatedness, association to the drug administration, to the drug administered, the investigational drug or investigation product or study medication administered or not. Example, temporal association, where AEs adverse events immediately follow dosage adjustment may indicate causality. Submission to authorities. Serious or unexpected adverse events, AEs, reported to databases like the FDA's MidWatch, one of the databases, important databases in USA, to report to in case of serious adverse events, SAEs, or unexpected AEs, unexpected adverse events, is to this database that is called FDA's, Food and Drug Administration's MidWatch, or international safety platforms promptly, instantly, immediately. Tools for AE reporting, adverse event reporting. We have the MidWatch for FDA, platform for healthcare professionals and patients to voluntarily report adverse events. Voluntarily report adverse events. So this is in case if we focus into this sentence, MidWatch FDA. So first we said they have to be reported to the databases, whether FDA or the international. FDA's platform or database, MidWatch, or international safety platforms promptly. But this is on regard trials, clinical trials, whether serious or unexpected adverse events. Now here, MidWatch FDA, platform for healthcare professionals and patients, meaning this is in a health. This sentence applies to healthcare setting, like physicians or healthcare providers, and the patients who are actual patients, not participant in the trials, voluntarily report adverse events to the FDA MidWatch. So this applies into healthcare setting, but previously into the clinical research trial, into clinical research. Now, electronic data capture EDC systems enhance efficiency by automating error checking, data upload, and tracking incomplete case report forms, CRFs. Here's a nice diagram analyzing causes of adverse events in clinical trials, as we have the drug-related issues, known side effects, dosage errors, study design, inadequate monitoring, fluid protocols, non-compliance, pre-existing conditions, patient factors, external stressors, unexpected environmental changes, external influences, as all that in the category or might lead to adverse events in clinical trials. Signal detection. Definition. A signal is any indication of a potential safety concern. So whenever there is a concern upon safety matter or safety concern matter, it's a signal, and research is a signal. And when it is detected, then signal detection. Arising from aggregated AE adverse event data that warrants further investigation. Types of signals: new safety patterns, discoveries of unexpected AE trends such as heart failure risk with diabetes treatments, changes in known risks. For instance, increased frequency or severity of an AE previously documented with a treatment. So here we have examples or types of signals to detect in clinical research. For instance, unexpected AE, and there's a trend, high trend. An example here, heart failure with diabetes treatment trial, or expected AE, known AE, but there is increasing in severity or frequency or trends, and so changes in known risks. Methodologies for signal detection, we have quantitative signal detection and qualitative. So quantitative, quantitative signal detection detects statistical overrepresentation of particular AEs, adverse events, using algorithms. Tools and techniques, we have a proportional reporting ratio, PRR, compares event frequency for one drug versus others. Reporting's odds ratio, ROR, assesses the probability of a specific relationship. We have Bayesian shrinkage models account for variability in smaller data sets. Example, using ROR, the reporting odds ratio, to detect increased bleeding risk in anticoagulant therapies. Qualitative signal detection, pattern recognition through manual or smaller scale reviews, best suited for early signals in small phase 1 or 2 trials with fewer participants. Example, manual triaging of narrative case reports in a pilot cancer immunotherapy trial. Temporal pattern analysis detects time-related changes in event frequency, identifying delayed or seasonal event spikes. For example, spotting increased flu-related vaccine reactions during winter months. Multimodal data integration combines spontaneous reporting systems, SRS, insurance claims, and real-world hospital data for comprehensive insights. Tools for signal detection, we have the empirical bias screening tools, WHO's World Health Organization's VigiBase for international pharmacovigilance. It's called VigiBase. Vigi from vigilancy, so Vigi, and base from database, so VigiBase. It belongs to WHO, and it's WHO, the WHO, and it is international, global. Visual data mining software for trend analysis. Here's a diagram, summarized diagram, exploring signal detection, safety monitoring. In signal detection, here we have new safety patterns, changes in known risks, quantitative methods, qualitative methods, proportional reporting ratio, PRR, and reporting odds ratio, ROR. Here we have benefits. Adverse event reporting, AE reporting, timely risk identification, protects participants by flagging harmful trends early. Regulatory compliance ensures adherence to international safety regulations. While for signal detection, the benefits is proactive risk mitigation, highlight emerging changes before they escalate, being proactive rather than wait in order to react, but being proactive. Resource focus prioritizes high-risk drugs or sites for closer inspection, streamlining safety evaluations. Here's a summarized diagram about pharmacovigilance strategies, signal detection, AE reporting, adverse event reporting, safety assurance. Challenges, AE adverse event reporting challenges. We have underreporting. Often mild or seemingly unrelated AEs are overlooked. Solution standardized and universal training in AE adverse event identification. Time burden, lengthy forms deter timely analysis. Solutions simplified digital systems, enhance reporting efficiency. While signal detection challenges, false positives, where noise in the data mimics issues inaccurately. Solution refinement, using algorithms that exclude irrelevant or spurious data. Integration difficulties, data sets from diverse trials lack standardization, solution or resolution for that, global standards for coding and data integration. Here is a summarized diagram on improved AE reporting efficiency, as we have standardized training, timeline analysis, and accurate data. Advancements in AE reporting and signal detection. Artificial intelligence AE use predictive models to quantify and contextualize AE adverse event risks early. Example, AE artificial intelligence tools classify risks using natural language processing NLP from site supervisor reports. Blockchain technology here, the audit trail system, immutable transaction timelines improve the transparency of AE adverse event records and submission logs. Example, time-stamped AE adverse event updates are integrated into blockchain databases for compliance verification. Wearable devices capture real-time health metrics to complement and traditional AE adverse event tracking. Example, heart rate monitors identify abnormal patterns in cardiovascular drug trials. Global databases, tools like WHO's World Health Organizations, Vigibase enable shared safety insights across global studies. Here's a summarized diagram enhancing adverse event reporting, as we have here the global databases, wearable devices, blockchain technology, artificial intelligence. Application or applications in practice, as we have here scenarios for each scenario, adverse event reporting, and then signal detection. Scenario of vaccine trials, adverse event reporting, early documentation of allergic symptoms, while signal detection's cluster analysis reveals elevated anaphylaxis signals. Scenario of oncology research, in oncology research, adverse event reporting, SAE tracking weekly for immune-related toxicity, signal detection regression models correlate toxicity severity to drug regimens. Multi-site phase 3 study scenario, consolidation of patient records via EDC, electronic data capture, as adverse event reporting, while signal detection cross-site trend analysis highlights geographical variations. Post-market surveillance, adverse event reporting, hospitalizations logged after drug market entry, signal detection trends indicate dose-dependent safety concerns with newer users. By incorporating systematic AE adverse event reporting and advanced signal detection tools, clinical researchers and monitors can proactively address patient safety risks and uphold the highest standards in trial oversight. This ensures both ethical compliance and robust data for scientific and regulatory evaluation. Next, we have tables to summarize what we have covered through this lecture, as we have a table on key categories of adverse events, AEs, category, definition, examples, impact, and action required, category, serious adverse events, unexpected adverse events, related adverse events, unrelated adverse events, and long-term adverse events. Another table on steps in adverse events reporting. Steps we have here for each step description, tools used, example, and outcome. Steps are detection, documentation, classification, submission, and follow-up. Table on signal detection methodologies for each description, example, strengths, and their limitations. Methodologies, quantitative techniques, qualitative techniques, temporal pattern analysis, multimodal integration, and Bayesian models. We have table on challenges in AE, adverse event reporting, signal detection, challenges for each challenge, AE reporting example, signal detection example, impact and solution. Challenges under reporting, false positives or negatives, data integration issues, complexity of forms, limited resources. Table on recent advancements in AE, adverse event reporting and signal detection, advancement, function, example, benefit, and implementation. As advancements, we have AE, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, natural language processing, NLP, real-time risk dashboards, and wearable integration. Application table, we have scenarios for each scenario, key principle that was applied, key actions, timeline, what to watch out for. Scenarios, sudden spike in adverse reactions in vaccine trial, oncology drug linked to elevated liver enzymes, unexpected fatal SAE serious adverse event in a multi-site study, geographic trends in adverse events AEs during phase 3. post-market surveillance of anticoagulant therapy, rare adverse events effects in pediatric trials, seasonal AE fluctuation related to a vaccine, and then integration of wearable data and AE adverse event detection. More scenarios, disproportional reporting of AE adverse event in a medication, dose study, blockchain records, and serious adverse event oversight. Now we will revise through or via some multiple choice questions, MCQs. Question 1, what qualifies as a serious adverse event SAE in clinical trials? Mild headache reported for less than 24 hours, temporary rash on the skin, C, hospitalization due to a drug reaction, or D, slight increase in blood pressure. Definitely it's C, as hospitalization due to a drug reaction. Serious adverse events, SAEs, are those events that result in hospitalization, disability, life-threatening complications, or death. Minor issues like mild headaches or rashes are not classified as serious adverse events. Maybe adverse events, but not serious. Question 2. What is the purpose of signal detection in clinical trials? Is it to directly diagnose patient conditions? A. B. To identify potential safety concerns in data? C. To replace adverse event reporting systems? Or D. To ensure every adverse event is reported? Well, it is definitely B, as being proactive through the signal detection to identify potential concerns, safety concerns in data. As signal detection focuses on uncovering patterns in data that suggest a possible association between a drug and an adverse event, allowing follow-up for confirmation. Question 3. Which of the following is an example of qualitative signal detection? Using Bayesian models to identify AEs, B, integrating datasets from hospitals and insurers, C, reviewing case reports manually for pattern recognition, or D, running a proportional reporting ratio PRR calculations. So it is C, definitely. Why? Because we said the difference between the qualitative and quantitative signal detection. As a quantity, from quantitative signal detection applies to high scale kind of trials, while qualitative qualitative signal detection applies into small trials with fewer participants. That's why C applies as reviewing case reports manually, because you have few participants for pattern recognition. Qualitative signal detection relies on identifying patterns through manual reviews, especially when datasets are limited, while PRR and Bayesian models are quantitative methods. Question 4. How can underreporting of adverse events AEs be mitigated? A. Utilize blockchain technology for secure records. B. Provide enhanced training to clinical staff. Or C. Introduce more complex reporting forms. Or D. Build larger global databases. So definitely by training, by enhance the clinical staff experience and enhance them professionally through training. So B, provide enhanced training to clinical staff. Underreporting often occurs due to a lack of awareness or training among staff. By educating staff on the importance of comprehensive AE reporting, it becomes easier to capture critical safety information. Question 5. What is a recent advancement aiding in signal detection? Is it A, paper-based documentation for adverse events, B, natural language processing for automated case reviews, traditional C, statistical reports ratios, or D, manual integration of large safety datasets? So definitely not paper-based, A, definitely not C, traditional, definitely not D, manual, as those are traditional monitoring or applications in signal detection, but are not advancement. That advancement would be B, natural language processing. As natural language processing technology extracts relevant information from narrative records, streamlining the review process and enhancing signal detection capabilities. Traditional methods lack automation and efficiency. And here we come to the end of this lecture. Thank you very much and goodbye.